All right. Happy birthday to me. Today's March 20th. It is my birthday, and because it's my birthday, I wanted to make sure I did a really good review on a pair of gloves that a lot of people are asking me about. And these are the Phenom SG-235 sparring gloves. I got this in the, I believe it's Legacy Brown colorway. Definitely like that. Has this nice kind of cream color on the logo here, along with this nice embroidery here, and it also has the cream color on the welted seams of the glove, which I really love, and on the laces, which is really cool. Makes it, more of an old school type of glove. I really enjoy that. These gloves are in 16 ounces. They are made in Pakistan. Before I weigh them, I just want everybody to know that. So let's weigh and see what they got. I'm going to put this one on first. This one's going to be 15.91. Let's try it again, because I think I kind of messed up on that one. Let's go. Yep, 15.91 still. And then we're going to go here. And this one's going to be 15.94. Okay, so yeah, they're pretty close to weight, and that's really close to the actual 16-ounce indicator, which means fantastic. I'm all about that. I think that's a really good thing. Stay on the weight, guys. People buy gloves because they want gloves to be closer to weight. They don't want to be an ounce under, ounce and a half under, or 2 ounces over. I guess depending on who you are, maybe you do, but not so much me. The leather is going to be this, what they categorize as a supple, full grain cowhide leather. And it just, it feels like a nice, leather. I've felt this leather many times from these Pakistan made places, and it has a nice texture to it. It has this nice kind of bumped up roughly texture to it. It's not exactly too smooth. I like gloves with a little bit of texture because I feel like it grips onto the bag once you hit them. It gives me more of a satisfying feel opposed to a glove that is too slick. It has a nice little shine to it. I don't know if you want to call it maybe like a kind of a, I don't know, but the light reflects on it pretty well. Ultimately, it is, in my opinion, a nice thick leather. As you can see, I'm pinching it here, and it has a nice thickness to it. So in terms of leather, I think it's a very good leather. It is soft and supple leather, and it does have a nice texture to it, a nice durable texture to it. So I do like that. And the inside of the liner, I don't necessarily know exactly what the liner is made of, but it has no slack whatsoever, and it's like a nice silky, what they categorize as a moisture wicking liner, and I 100% agree. I think the liner on these gloves are probably some of my most favorite liners because of how tight they are to the glove. There is no extra slack or extra baggage or anywhere inside this glove as well. As you can see, the 16-ounce indicators on this, along with the model number. And if you fold this up, you'll see that it says made in Pakistan. Also, it's kind of funny, they wrote down 16 here. I don't know, it's on the liner if you could see. So that's funny too, but no big deal. When it comes to the padding, it's a hybrid style padding. They explain it as a traditional quilted horsehair with foam. So, quilted horsehair, I'm guessing they have it somewhere in this glove in which they believe that it's essentially going to be staying in one portion of the glove, along with the foam, which I'm not sure exactly if they have more multi-layer foams under here, but they don't really tell you on their website. They express that it's a medium, but when I do feel it, I'll tell you more about the padding later, but let's see if you could hear it. I'm not going to touch the knuckle portion of it. I'm just going to squeeze this portion right here. So I don't know if that's the horsehair even back here. I first assumed that it was just going to be here in the knuckle portion, maybe in a bag form, and just essentially be on the knuckle area. But when I squeeze down here on the bottom portion of the glove, I do hear this kind of crinkling noise. I don't know if you can, but yeah, ultimately, I'll get into how that feels later on. Style of the glove, I love it. I love this old style, vintage style glove. I didn't know if I was gonna love the color, but I do. At the end of the day, I think it looks like really nice. The size of the glove and just the ultimately the color of the glove. This glove is very, in my opinion, I think it's a medium to a compact glove. So actually a little more compact than that. I have some 14-ounce gloves that kind of look similar to this in terms of profile. Maybe a tad bit bigger than the 14 ounces, but ultimately, you know, they look like a 14 ounce to me. They're not really a big glove. They are more compact, in my opinion, than the other Phenoms that I just reviewed. But that's just my opinion. Ultimately, take it as you will. You probably have maybe, let me see, maybe 2 inches or so of padding here, you know, give or take. Not the most padding. It's not super thick. Maybe it's a little less than 2 inches, but that's how I see it there. The style of it, this decal here, it's nice and everything, but as you can see, the decal itself, it feels like it's going to peel, you know. I don't think that's a big deal, but I wish they did this embroidery kind of here, you know, and made that way more solid so this doesn't go away. You know, kind of like how the Taurus Medina gloves do it, where they kind of use the stitching in the top end here, and you could just, so that's going to last forever, you know. In terms of this, it's kind of like, you know, the logo seems like it might peel through time. You know, when I crinkle it down, you can see the bubbles inside of it sometimes. I don't know if you could tell. This one definitely has more bubbles inside. And it's a small logo, so eventually I feel like it's going to go, but I don't think it's a big deal. But so far so good. It hasn't gone on me, but ultimately if I'm going to say that there's probably a weak spot of the glove, it's probably going to be this decal here. But other than that, pretty good. Obviously you have welted seams here. The stitching I love because I like stitching that matches the color of the glove itself anyways. As you can see, the double stitching is pretty thick all around the glove, from, you know, where the grip bar is, you know, this portion, all of it's really nice. And I like it being the color of the glove because a lot of times, especially if, you know, if it's white, you're going to see a lot of the stitching get really dirty and things like that. So even the welted seams is not exactly white, it's more of a cream color. So I do appreciate that. And at the end of the day, you know, when you're sparring or doing anything, people bleed, and you don't want necessarily it to be something that you can't get rid of, whether it's white stitching and stuff like that. So I do like that it matches the color of the glove. The laces, nice cream color. They're, I would say, medium size. They have a decent amount of length to it, but I would say it's somewhere in the medium. I think it could be a tad bit longer, but that's just me. I really like long laces. The laces itself, it has kind of this, you know, cotton type of feel. It does not have any give. It's not stretchy, and that's fine. It's rolled, and it has these plastic tips, very small plastic tips on them, so that's good too. So keep that in mind. In terms of, I want to get into the actual wrist padding portion of it. The wrist padding is pretty okay. It's not the thickest, but it doesn't have to be because it's very dense. And because it has this nice dense, it does have a good amount of protection. Very, very good amount of protection. It's very dense and hard padding in the back. I would say it's about 1/2 inch thick. And on the sides, I would say it's less, probably about 1/4 inch thick, but it's also, like I said, very nice thick padding coming up the top here. And I do like that feeling. It kind of reminds me a little bit of like some of the rival gloves that I've had that have really good, you know, wrist protection here, really dense wrist protection. The wrist is fantastic in my opinion. I think they really knocked it out of the park with the wrist. Really, really good. In terms of the thumb, I think this is probably one of the better thumbs out there. Very, very comfortable, and it's very simple. And it doesn't allow your thumb to be outward too much. It gives you your thumb a nice pathway to go inward, and it does curve it inside, so you definitely get that nice feel that your thumb is protected, but very, 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 very good amount of protection and no pinching whatsoever. And I think it's like a perfect size. Honestly, I think they do a really good job on the thumb as well. So far the glove is just unbelievable. In my opinion, it's probably one of my favorite gloves of all time already, just off of those things. In terms of this grip bar, I would say it's kind of a medium to soft grip bar. The size is not bad. I don't mind it at all. I would say maybe, I like bigger, thicker grip bars, but this, this isn't too bad, and it's not a huge deal. And I'll say why it's not a huge deal, because the inside of the glove kind of has also a little bit of a secondary grip bar that makes you feel this a lot better. So I'll get into that later. Again, with these air holes, very unique to me. There's 3 air holes up here on the top, but they're massively big. As you can see, they're pretty big, 1, 2, 3, but they have nice big holes there. And on the corner here, you'll see that there's 3 as well. I don't know if you could tell, but on the thumb there's 3, and they're also as big. And this glove is definitely not a glove that I feel like people would sweat in. So the ventilation is great. The liner itself is really good, and it doesn't give you that feeling that you're gonna, basically sweat so hard in a glove, or the inside has a really soft foam in which your hands get hot and start to sweat. So keep that in mind. Really good so far. What else? I would say that the punch dynamics of the glove, as you can see here, I think it's, once you put your hands in, it's going to be flatter. But we obviously have here a kind of a horsehair glove mixed with foam. It's probably going to get flatter through time. But as you can see that, it has a rounded surface here, but it does change once your hand's in there. I think it does a really good job at keeping it in the middle. So if you are somebody who likes to keep their hands a little open during sparring, or not so closed, you're somebody in the middle, I think it really does do a good job for people that are like that. Particularly sometimes, in my opinion, I like gloves that kind of have an open hand. If I'm sparring with them, I like them having the open hand automatically, and then I push my hands down when I'm punching. But if I'm using the heavy bag or something, I like gloves that, keep my hand in a fist position. And if I'm somewhere in the middle, you could pretty much use this for all those aspects. But that's just me. In terms of the glove comfort, once I put my hands in the glove, it's just really comfortable, guys. Like, it's one of the most comfortable gloves I think I've ever put my hands in. It slides in very well, feels nice and cool, and it just has this really nice silky liner that really makes your hands feel really good. The first thing I notice is that it slides in well, and the hand compartment, I wouldn't say it's super snug, but it's definitely not loose. It's right there. It keeps your hands in place. You could definitely put your hand wraps in here, and it'll be comfortable. In terms of the thumb is so comfortable. It just naturally put my thumb in that position. Definitely one of so far my favorite gloves. And I'm not trying to glaze this glove or anything, but there's not many gloves that so far have impressed me like this one has. In terms of the thumb, I don't feel any pinching here. I think they did a good job, gave me enough space for my thumb. The piping isn't hard or going too crazy here. Like I said, hand compartment's good. In the finger compartment, like I said, there is like this secondary grip bar here where the stitching is. And it's kind of it's like a little rounded and flat at the same time. So it gives you this nice feel like you could really grasp down on it and then, hit that grip bar here. Now, this grip bar isn't that thick or isn't that wide, but it does do a good job at making sure you could actually do a nice grip and you could feel it a little bit. I do like this, the finger compartment on downward. It comes down a good amount, so I still have a lot of space here. If I had longer fingers, I have no problems. I think it's wide enough for people who have wider hands, and I have no problems, no hands or no fingers overlapping here as well. Also, one of my favorite things is open and close. I can open and close this glove with ease, no problem whatsoever. This glove is very, very broken in, and it pretty much came that way. So put that into perspective. Very, very, very nice glove in that aspect. So putting that in there, I would say the one thing is like when you move your hands around, the laces do kind of come loose. They're kind of slippery a little bit, but you have to tie your laces anyway, so it's silly to even bring that up. But ultimately, yeah, I mean, once I do this, the laces are already gone. But punch surface, right? So I'm gonna say that right now, this is how my hand is when it's open. This is how my hand is when I close it. And this is how my hand is when I open it up all the way. So when I do punch with this glove, it is nice. So it definitely has more pop, and it definitely has more feedback than the SG-300 gloves, and it's, you know, it's cheaper, and it's just all around, in my opinion, more comfortable glove. Now, I like the SG-300s, but I think a lot of it is because of the materials that it's made of that makes it so expensive. This is a medium, and they're right about it being a medium. Right now, I'm touching it without my hands in the glove, so you'll see that it pushes down a little bit more. I do feel, like I said, I'm hearing the horsehair pretty much everywhere. I thought it would just be here, but I'm hearing it in the entire glove, which is kind of weird. But ultimately, that's what I am hearing. The padding is really nice. I would say that because it's not the thickest padding in terms of the thickness here, you do have there is a moment where once you punch with it, you can feel your knuckles kind of pierce through a little bit. There is a little bit of a shock there, especially if you're going to hit something really dense or really hard. You might get that feeling, puncher's feeling. Essentially, I feel like it is a medium in a lot of places, but ultimately, if you are a hard puncher, I think your fingers are going to go through. But not enough, not crazy where I think it's dangerous or anything like that, but you definitely do feel that there is going to be some type of shock on the front two knuckles here. So when you hit and bang, bang, you're going to end up, you know, getting that shock a little bit. But you put your wrist, your hand guards on and all that kind of stuff, your knuckle guards, and you should be all set. But yeah, I mean, because of this not being so thick, that's probably the reason why. Ultimately, this glove is great everywhere. Honestly, it is. And this is like, if I had to choose a glove right now that I just wanted to use all day, every day, and hit the bag with, this thing checks like every single box, and it's not even close. I think, like, you know, just ultimately, you know, it's definitely a special glove. I think that this is Phenom's best glove. You know, not to say that other gloves are not great, but this is probably the best glove. It's their middle of the range glove, so I would say that the glove is probably somewhere in the price range of, I think on the website it says $284 in US, but then obviously you have to add shipping plus duty fees, and they'll end up probably being an extra $80. So when you add an extra $80, you're looking at somewhere like $360, and that's not even, you know, that's crazy, right? But I got this from MSM Fight Shop, and this is, I think, based in Miami, and I got these for $309. Now for $309, I'll buy these all day. I'll probably buy a couple more pairs just because I want to have a couple just for all different types of things. I think that the glove is just so good, you know. Even the padding up top here, they have some nice padding up top here, up in the palm portion of the glove. Like, there's just things about the glove. It's just very well made. It's, you know, it's solid. It's very comfortable. And when I put it on, I feel like, okay, I'm ready to go. You know what I mean? And I feel like it looks sharp, you know. And I really don't have much complaint. The only thing I can say about the glove itself is maybe this part, you know, do something better with the logo, because I like the logo and how it looks, but it doesn't look like, in my opinion, it's going to stay on there very long. But my final thoughts are like, guys, you know, there's a reason why I wanted to review this on my birthday, because this is probably one of the best. If I had a top 5 list of gloves, this will probably hit the top 5 for sure. And that's saying a lot because I have a lot of gloves I love, so put that in mind. This is definitely a good buy, especially if you get it here in the United States. You might get it from another shop, might pay $300. That's fine. I know people are going to say, oh, you know, it's Pakistan-made glove, Pakistan leather, yada, yada. And I get it, because for a Pakistan-made glove in Pakistan, you kind of want it to be $200. I understand that. But because of the performance of the glove, I'm like, okay, I'll do it. So maybe I'm a sucker, but I'm definitely somebody who is willing to go that extra for a really good made glove, even if it has the same materials as some gloves that are necessarily cheaper. But that is my review, guys. Take it or leave it. You know, have a good day. And if there's any other gloves you guys think I should try to review, just, you know, put it on the bottom, and then I'll see if I can get them soon enough. But these are definitely up there.